Hey, how's it going, everybody? Sarasota Tim. Here's to you. Let's have a cold one together. I got myself a Walmart Great Value Club Soda. How you 111,614 beautiful souls doing tonight? I'm doing great. Didn't slurp it, but notice the flame is low. That's because it definitely warrants having a little chill breaker, because it's I think like 67, so it's below 70. That's definitely, sitting out here with short pants and a polo is cool for us Floridians. So I've got it way down. Let me see if I can get it any lower. That's as low as she goes, and then here's high. Rager. We'll put it right about there. So an interesting day today. I'm so glad you can't see me up close, because, man, not sleeping well last night. I mean, I don't think I slept bad, but I know I didn't sleep good because I had to stay on my back, and even woke myself up snoring. But if I can't toss and turn and move around like I like to do, then I'm always awake anyway, a couple of times during the night, as I'm sure many of you are. But it's really taking its toll on me today. I sit and look at my phone, or sit and watch YouTube in the camper here, or pace the floor like I did at Shoot Straight today, waiting for the background check to come back. And I talked to Johnny Vegas on the phone. I talked to JJ. I was texting people, and it just seemed like an eternity. Then I finally got the great idea. Well, hey, just go bring in the Bodyguard 2.0, the small little pocket pistol I have, and go on the range and shoot. Maybe, by the time you shoot a box of bullets, the background check will come in, and I can take the new one in there and shoot it like I've been wanting to do. That's why I waited there all day. Now, unlike the other place where I bought my last firearm at Academy, they keep your driver's license. And if you say, I don't want to wait here for all that, could be a couple of hours or more, or it could be 5 minutes. You just don't ever know. They give you your license back and tell you, when you're ready to wait here, we'll do it. I don't know, they think you're going to go buy it somewhere else. I don't know what Academy's really they've kind of rubbed me the wrong way with their policies, but hey, it is what it is, right? That's the way they roll over there. Where Shoot Straight, they did something that was kind of antiquated. They had me fill out the background check with pen and paper, and they give you an iPad at Academy, and they give you back your concealed weapon license and your driver's license, and they give you a piece of paper with a QR code on it, and it has a couple of numbers. You take what a QR does. You take a picture or look at it with your camera lens, and then it brings up something. You tap it, and you simply put the two numbers in they provide you, and it tells you if you're done, if you're approved, and you can just leave, and come back when you're ready. You don't have to sit there and pace the floor like I did. But I was hoping it would be within a half an hour, and there was so much to see in there. In fact, they probably don't have any problem with me videoing. There are so many guns. I mean, like Academy, they have shoes and shirts and kayaks, as well as some guns. This place has got scopes, guns, rifles, knives, you name it, man. And it's just wall to wall. It's a Walmart of firearms. So I was able to kill like at least 30 minutes of just looking around at all the different stuff. But before I go any further, the items they have in there at Shoot Straight, I saw a knife one day. Yeah, I like all these things. That you push a button or you slide it forward and the knife blade comes straight out. Not a switchblade, it comes straight out. And you pull it in and it goes in. So when I saw one of those, not too long ago, kind of the first one I saw, I've always heard like a switchblade. And then you get the folders that you can flip out, or you get the thumb kind you can roll out. But this thing, so I said, how much? How much do you think? Well, one, you don't have to guess because I can't hear you, but I wouldn't be surprised if I saw 60, I heard 60, 70, 80, $90, $100. And then when the guy showed me a couple other ones that do that special movement, and it's not a folder, I thought to myself, ooh, if I hear 150, but I could believe it. You know how much it was? $350 for a knife with a clip on it that goes in your pocket. $350. Now, I know they're a retail place and there's got to be a lot of gross profit in that. And they did say they'd give you 20% off. And then I get another 10% off with the little membership I have there to shoot. But that isn't anything. He pulled out another one. And I almost passed out when I heard 350. He told me $699 for this. It's just a little pocket knife. What was it called? Bench something maybe, or I don't know. But one had like a snake on it, and one had another little icon. And I'm sure you out there that know about these things can tell me what it was, but I really couldn't believe it. Oh, we got to turn it up a little bit. I just really couldn't believe it. I thought, man, I spend that kind of money, I'm buying another gun. So the background check never came. I made a video earlier. I know I got to get some new material. And I told you guys what happened. As soon as I got home, it came back and, naturally. I was playing with that, 380 today. That was only 5 yards away, maybe 7. I have no depth perception with one of my eyes out. So I went back to looking down my left arm out of my left eye with the right eye closed or squinted. And pulling it in there like it was a scope on a rifle. Anything to see that front sight. And I guess they were all in there. The groupings weren't too bad. And those are very small targets. Those are 50-cent targets. They got these ones that are bigger, and when you hit them, they leave a little splotch where you can totally see. I'll get those tomorrow for the 45. I'll step up and spend big. They're like $1.50. These ones I got today were 50 cents. And when I'll put the camera, like I did today on the selfie stick tripod thing, and zoom in to the target so you can see it hit. And I know I'm going to do way better because my other Kimber, the 3-inch, is just dead on accurate. That thing is so accurate. I can only imagine tomorrow the 5-inch. I'm just curious if I have a failure to feed. But anyway, I've seen every video there is on YouTube. And I've talked about it for every day? You guys are starting to pick up on what kind of guy I am. I'm telling you, man, I get on something, that's it. I have the revolver, I got the polymer guns, I've got the 2 models of Glock that I think are nice. I've got the Kimber, which I'm just stuck on shiny now. These black guns in the casing, when you go to any gun show or gun store, they all look like Glocks. Every last one of them to me looks like a Glock. They're all black, they're all polymer, they're all square barrels, and they look like a Glock. Every last one. And you go down the line there and you're looking in the case, and all of a sudden, boom, shiny, chrome, stainless, two-tone, rosewood grips. And you're like, what is that? And that's what I'm hooked on now. That's what I really like. They're just elegant firearms. Our ideas change. Oh, that fire feels good. Yeah. Let me turn it down a little bit again so I get nice and cold again, and I'll see. I can do that with my foot. Oh, I can already feel cold. I already got to turn it back up, but the wind was blowing that. Oh, I feel it still. That's good. That's good. All right. So I hear you in the comments about club soda was good. I know I'm supposed to have the cranberry with it. By the way, I have them. You got to put it in a glass on ice, and it really is good. I really enjoy it. But I just grab one to have one so I can talk and not be parched. But no, I hear you guys in the comments saying, the beach and the water and fishing and all that. Let's talk about. Well, first of all, I'll get over to the beach. I read the comment. Yes, Siesta Key. Well, I've videoed there before. I definitely have no problem going there. I wouldn't mind showing you guys Siesta Key Beach and the little town down there, the little square, the street, the strip, and then the walk down the beach itself. I've talked about my stepfather to you guys, and he basically raised me. And what happened was, after him and my mother separated when I was pretty young, and I became 12, 13 years old, I left California where I was living with my mother, and I returned to Lake Worth, Florida, where I went to high school. And I lived with my father, my biological father. And during the junior high and high school, when I came to live with him here, I was only 1 year in junior high. And in those days, junior high was 7th and 8th. And elementary went to 6th. Then you had 7th and 8th junior high. And then 9, 10, 11, 12 was high school at Lake Worth. And they call the junior high middle school now. And I think the grades might be a little different of when high school starts. I'm not sure. So when I came to Florida to live with my biological father, I kind of reached out to him, and I was getting to be the age where, the good Lord just sent me there. He was able to provide more. My mom didn't have the finances, and he was financially much, much better off here in Florida. He was in the car business. He was, that's how I kind of got into it, I guess. He was sales manager and finance manager. He was mostly always in management. I don't recall much of him ever being a salesman. He was always in management. Although he sold because he helped the salesman close deals and that kind of thing. So he certainly was a salesman. My real father and I, before I get into the fishing, are twins. We are absolutely twins. And the funny thing is, he remarried a few times and had children with all of his wives. And I was his firstborn. And when he and my mom split, I was very, very young. So when I came to live with him as a junior high, adolescent, teenager, he didn't, raise me for those other years from like 3 or 4. Yeah, I was like 3 or 4. Then my stepfather came in, see? But anyway, without even being raised by him, I grew up being just like my father. While I learned a lot of values from my stepfather, who really taught me all my values, respect and all that, and my southern ways and things, just pure genetics or genes, I should say, whatever the word is. My father and I are twins. He didn't have any other children that I would say, and I have a couple of half brothers, different mothers, but sired by the same man. No one I know looked as much like him, acted as much like him, through the way we were when we were young, our ambitions, literally everything. I mean, you're talking about a chip off the old block. I am him, me. And he was in the Army, and then when he got out, and him and my mom were very, very young, and they had a couple of kids, my brother and I. I have a brother that's, biological. I mean, he's like full brother. When my dad remarried, a couple of times he had children, so I have these half siblings. I know. Every time I tell the story, they're like, oh boy. It's different than some, but he was an offshore fisherman. And I remember as a young guy when I came to live with him when I was in high school, in junior high school, he had a boat and he went over to the Bahamas with it. He drove, I went with him right across the ocean. It's about 60 miles from West Palm Beach to Bimini, part of the Bahamas. It's not that far. If you keep it on, due east on your compass, you'll run right into it. And he has caught everything that swims in the ocean. He's had them mounted. I've been on the boat with him when we've done it. And he's painted, sanded and painted his own boats. He'd buy the airless sprayers and the mask, and he was really into it. He's kind of like me. When he gets into something, he buys all the stuff and just does it. And I'm kind of the same way, I think. He may have had more money than I had as I was getting, into things and growing up, or when I was younger, I should say, because my real success has been in my last few years. I did very well for the 33 years I was in my business, but because I fired myself often and didn't work much, I had plenty of money, but I didn't, have a lot of money. I just could do what I wanted to do within reason. He, on the other hand, he owned a home and he made good money and he bought all these things as a very young man and supported children and a wife, multiple wives, and I guess child support and everything else. So he must have made some money. But I became a fisherman when I got married, and I bought a boat, and I would go offshore, and I would troll. And if you don't know what trolling is, you got two types of fishing. You got deep sea fishing, where you just hang your rod over the side of the boat and drop down to the bottom or near the bottom and wait for a bottom fish to come along and bite your hook. And then you have trolling, and trolling is what you see these marlin and sailfish and these sport fishing videos where the boat is actually moving all the time, and your fishing rod is in a holder, and the line is out, and the bait is like a fish that's designed to drag across the surface and it's kind of skip across the top. And this draws big game fish, sailfish, marlin, barracuda, dolphin, which is mahi in Florida. That's what we call mahi, is dolphin. You can get wahoo. All these aggressive fish that chase bait, bonita, jack, all these types of fish. They see the bait skipping. You've got it back anywhere from, I would say, 20, 30 yards all the way out to 60, 70 yards, behind you, way back. And these poles you see sometimes on boats that stick out sideways, those are called outriggers. And when you put the fishing rod in the hole of the boat, in the hull, the gunnel, in the rod holder, you take the fishing line that comes out at the end of the rod tip, you bring it down to where the reel is, and you take this clothespin looking thing and stick the line on it, and then you roll the line on the outrigger out to the tip, and now the line, you have two rods with the line spread apart, spread eagle. And so they drag on the outside, and now you can drag two more in the rod holders on the stern, in the back. So you control 4 lines, you control 6 lines. Some of these outriggers are so long, you can have one halfway out and another one all the way out to the tip of the outrigger. So now you look like, or to a fish, that there's a bait, there's a school of small bait fish on the top. And bait fish always stay at the top. They don't ever really go deep. They kind of swarm together, you know, and try to protect one another and hope they don't get eaten. So when these fish that swim along just below the surface looking for bait fish, see those go by, and you troll at, I would say anywhere from walking speed to jogging. You got some like wahoo love to chase down fish, trolling baits that you can be running where you think, what fish can swim that fast and catch that and bite that? Believe me, sailfish too. So depending on, you know, and then you've got ones that you troll that are caught on the down plane. What's a down plane? It's a little foil thing that has like an airplane wing to it, and it's tilted down, and as you troll, it forces that bait to go down, but not to the bottom. You might have that one dragging as you're trolling down 20, 30 feet, 20 feet. And you're looking for a fish to hit that one. So you got a downrigger, you got the outriggers, and then you got lines off the back. And what happens is, this kind of fishing, I used to rig my own baits too, ballyhoo. I used to rig my own. You run a needle up in them, you take a triple hook set up and copper wire, and I mean, I've done it all. You know, break their back, squeeze them out, make them nice and soft. I've rigged squid. These are all things that I learned growing up from junior high school, because all of us in Florida in those days in Lake Worth, we only had a 10-speed bike. We had no cell phones. We had nothing to get in trouble. We might have drank a little bit of booze here and there, smoked some marijuana sometime. We all experimented, you know. But we were basically surfers and fishermen. We were active. We weren't out looking to get in trouble, playing video games. We had pinball, but we were outside. We didn't sit inside. And all the kids that were raised in West Palm Beach, like myself, in Lake Worth, I grew up in Lake Clark Shores. It's on the lake. We all barefoot skied, we skied, we slalom skied, we double skied, and then we fished. And this was the world that I grew up in, was surfing and fishing and skiing. Yeah, absolutely. And a little bit of partying. But talking about trolling, when you'd catch these fish, you know, you would hear the rod, you'd have it on click, and you know, it would pop it off the outrigger, come out of that little clothespin. You see the rod bent, and then it was like, fish on, you know, you'd yell out, or unless you were by yourself out there. And I used to go a lot of times by myself. You'd pull the boat back to neutral or just in gear to keep the line taut. And there was a certain way you had to set the hook to not have the fish spit it. Most fish that hit a line like that, they were hooked. But I'll tell you a quick story. Billfish, sailfish, they don't have teeth. And that bill has a purpose. They see a bait being trolled and dragging across the top, and they come up lightning speed. Probably the fastest fish in the ocean is a sailfish or marlin. And they bat it with their long sword, and that stuns the fish. And now when the fish is stunned and can't swim, they come back to eat it. And then they kind of like are biting down on it because they have no teeth. They're kind of smashing it and, you know, trying to get it in and all that. And then they swallow it. So what happens when you're fishing? There's a very unique way you catch those fish. When the rod bends or comes out of the outrigger and you hear the rod spinning, it's getting a fish on. If it's a billfish, a sailfish, or a marlin, it's more likely to be a sailfish over in West Palm. Marlin are out there too. You don't reel in right away because of the story I just told you. They have batted the fish. They've knocked it out of the rod hold, not out of the rod holder, but out of the outrigger, or they've made the rod bend and sing, but they haven't ate it yet. And if you go winding it in, you're going to lose that fish. So what do? There's a technique to catching a sailfish, and that's why they call it, hooking, not hooking, what is the word, the term? Raised. We raised 3, but we only landed 1, because most of the time you will lose it if you don't know this technique. So the technique is this: the fish bats it, you think you got one, you see it's a billfish, you see it jumping, they do air like dolphin do, mahi-mahi. They always air, come out and jump. You've seen it on videos, right? Billfish, sailfish jumping, marlin. So you have to do what they call drop back. Now you open the reel so the line can just come out. You just come out, and that fish is taking it. Remember, he's got it in his mouth. He's just kind of getting it soft. He's getting it ready to swallow. He doesn't have teeth like a barracuda or a dolphin or a wahoo or something. They just take it and eat it, it's over. So you're feeding this line out, and you got to be really patient. I'm talking about it's called drop back. You got to let the line be free spool, let the sailfish go. He batted it, he's got it, he's chomping on it, and he's swimming away. He might even swim way over here to the side or this side of the boat. And then what you do is, after you think that he's chewed it up good and he's got it all soft and he's ready to swallow it, that's when you lock the bail and you start to wind in till your rod gets tight, and then you give it a good set, because he's swallowed the hook down, and you're going to either catch him, with it in the corner of his mouth, hopefully, because this is a fish you want to release. This is just a game fish. You don't eat those fish. They're strictly, game fish. And that's how you catch a sailfish, is you got to do the drop back. So what happens is, most tourists go out there, they don't know what they got. They don't see it, they don't understand about drop back. They grab the rod out of the rod holder and go like this immediately. And they just pull the bait right out of the fish's mouth. The fish goes, and here you are, you reel it in, and half your bait's gone and smashed up and all that, and the sailfish swims on for another day. So, believe me, even knowing all this, I've lost way more than I've landed, because even after you get them and you set up and you've dropped back and you've fed the line out to him, because he goes back and forth, his bill can cut the line. That's why 80% of the fish have teeth, that people, when they fish, whether it's bottom fishing or trolling, they always use a little bit of wire at the end of the monofilament line to the hook. Anywhere from this amount to 6 feet of it. Because fish can bite the line and it's over. And the sailfish can whack the line, with its bill. So you lose them. It's really hard to land one. You get one, you're really proud of it. People used to mount them. They'd take them in and then go to the taxidermist, and most of the fish was fake, but the bill and they'd color it and do all this stuff. I don't know what they used to do, but part of it was real. Now, today, they don't want you to do any of that. They want you to simply take a picture and take it to the taxidermist, and they'll make you one that's just like it. And you can hang it on your wall and say, that's the fish that's the sailfish I caught. That's the marlin I caught, or any other fish you wish to release and have mounted. You can put a big, wahoo up there, whatever you want. Taxidermists are big business over there in Palm Beach County, because it's the fishing capital of the world. So those of you that ask if I fish, hell yeah, I fished. And real quickly about bottom fishing is it's more of a drift fish, really. You're drifting. You don't stay on the bottom or whatever. You know, fish don't just swim around with their bellies dragging across the sand of the bottom of the ocean. They're somewhere between the top and the bottom, and you know, and so you go down to the bottom with a good weight for bottom fishing, and you'll feel it hit the bottom, then you'll wind it up about 5 or 10 cranks. So that way, as the boat drifts from the current, you know, one, the bait's not dragging across the sand, and you don't get hooked up on coral or something, a rock. And so you've got that bait, you know, 10, 20 feet above the bottom, and the fish will come up, they'll come out of the reef and everything to get that bait. As the boat is not running, it's just slowly drifting if there's current, and there always is. You know, the only time there's not much of a current is right at ebb tide between high and low, and the water isn't moving. But bottom fishing, like catching amberjack near shipwrecks, these are some of the hardest fighting fish you could ever imagine being on the other end, trying to bring up from the bottom. Grouper, amberjack, bonita, kingfish, all these fish that sound, that means dive. Once they bite, they don't want to come up. They got forked tails, and those are the strongest fish. And you pull up, bringing the fish up, and then you wind down, and then you pull up. You can't just sit there and hold your rod and wind it in like over here at the lake pulling in a brim or a bass. You have to crank up, wind down. And then what happens is you do that about 10 times, and then the fish says, oh no, I ain't coming. And he just sounds some more and pulls all your line back out that you just got on him. And you sit there and you fight for a while, depending on how big of a reel you got and how much drag you can lock up. But if you don't have, you know, a big heavy duty reel and heavy line, you're going to have to loosen that drag up. Otherwise, he's going to snap you loose. So again, it's skill. You got to know how much drag to put on to wear this guy down. And it's the most exciting thing in the world to sit there bottom fishing and waiting on the bite. And unlike small little bait stealers on the bottom, you know, small snapper and things like that, when you get a real fish on the bottom, like an amberjack or a real fish, I should say, there is no, ooh, he's nibbling, I feel him. No, it's like someone grabbed you, the end of your fishing rod and jumped overboard. I mean, hang on. And it's like boom, 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 you know, and like, oh man, you're just, you know, he's like this in the beginning, and then, oh man, I'm ready to fish. So over in West Palm, they got these boats that are, they call them cattle boats, drift boats. They take you out for 30, 40, hell, it might be up to $50 or $75 now. It used to be 20 bucks when I was a kid. And they take out 20, 25 people, at least, at the most, I think. And we're all standing next to each other on one side of the boat, and we all drop down. It's only bottom fishing, or drift fishing, they call it. That's why they call it a drift boat. And they know right where to go, and then they'll say, everybody reel up, and the boat will move back out on the other side of the reef to drift back over where the fish habitat is, where they like to stay in the rocks, you know, around the coral reef. They're not just living out there in the sandy bottom. So, you know, you get a little drift for maybe 20 minutes or so, and then the captain will say, wind them up. And everybody winds them up, and he starts the boat, and he drags it, goes out about a half a mile, and then depending on the current, you know, and the boat will drift back across the columns of the reefs and everything that you can hopefully catch these fish on the bottom. And you see some pretty big fish caught on these. The only problem about a drift boat is that's why they call it a cattle boat. One guy catches one, and he's fighting it, and you got all these people standing next to you. all the way from the stern to the bow of the boat. And as that fish gets close to coming to the top, it's going back and forth. Now remember, all those anglers out there that are got their lines out, oh man, it's bird nest city. Inevitably, you know, half the people be all tangled up together, and then the mate's got to come out and cut the lines. There's no sense in trying to untangle it and tie you another rig on. And they use a bottom rig that's pretty quick to redo, but it's a mess. But if you have your own boat, though, you don't have to worry about all that. So that's my fishing story. I've actually been in the newspaper in Panama City. We caught a 65-pound wahoo, which is a huge wahoo, and we did catch it on a speed troll on an artificial lure, a wahoo rig, and we were going on at a very fast clip. I'm talking, you wouldn't think, like I said a minute ago, that any fish would be swimming that fast to bite something. And it took 4 of us, 4, to bring that fish in. We all took turns with the rod, having our turn, and so it wasn't my fish. If memory serves me right, I might have been, you know, up next to get the rod. You know, after, you know, this guy caught one, so all right, the next one you get. You know, you grab the rod, and then when that fish hit, it was all of ours because we all got to fight it. And we came into the dock. Memory serves me right, my buddy that owned the boat, he must have called ahead, or somebody was there or whatever from the local newspaper in Panama City Beach. I've got the newspaper article. And me and my buddies, we got our picture in the paper talking about that fish. But the what was the fish I named earlier? Can't believe I actually recalled it, and I can't recall it now. The ones that are off the wrecks, these big, oh gosh, can't think of the name of that fish now. Those are some of the hardest fighting. In fact, I'll finish up by telling you this. One type of fishing, you're moving, you're trolling. The boat is moving from slow to sort of fast. Another one, you drift. You just shut the engines off, you drop to the bottom. God, what is the name of that fish? Oh my gosh, I can always forget the name of this fish. I can't believe I said it earlier like that. I was so proud when I said it. These are they're huge, and they swim around wrecks. And like a snook here in salt water, they like to wrap you around the pilings and cut you off because of all the sharp edges on the coral that grows on the scales and stuff on the pilings. And they're smart. They know they'll just swim around underneath where, you know, like a snapper, like a grouper. They go in a hole. Well, when you're catching these big fish I can't think of the name of, one guy stays over there with the engine running, and you put down a big bait, like a ladyfish or something like that, and you drop it down with a good sized weight so it can go down to the wreck, and you don't have to wait long. Once you know you're on these fish, it's going to be on. And the guy at the helm with the engine running, as soon as you hook up, that fish is going to try to go back into that wreck and wrap you into one of those holes and all that metal and sharp edges, and you're going to lose it. So what the guy at the helm does is he moves you quickly off the wreck so that the fish can't go back in there and you can fight it and get it to the surface. Gosh, what's the name of that fish? I said it earlier in the video. So I hope you enjoyed the video, folks, about fishing. We did get off the guns there and went on a long fishing story. I will be going to the beach, and it's going to be beautiful weather. Obviously, a couple of days I'm chilling out here with the stitches, and you know, I'm embarrassed to tell you, but you know, I have to sponge bath. I haven't been able to shower since yesterday. If it was just one of those things they scrape and cauterize, I would, rip the bandage off and get a shower and put some Vaseline or whatever on there and throw another Band-Aid on. But I've got sutures, so first couple of days I want to make sure everything is clean, and I'm not even going to remove this bandage. It was due to be removed today and shower and put some Vaseline on and put a bandage back on. It has to stay moist. However, I was waiting on a gun all day today, and I'm tired now and all that. So I'm going to actually sleep in this one more night. Tomorrow morning I'll clean up and get it going. One of you told me in these comments, that I could remove the stitches myself, and I absolutely can. If memory serves me right, I haven't had stitches too many times in my life. It might have been on other dermatology, but yeah, when they're ready to come out, you can snip them and definitely pull them right out, especially if you've done a good job of keeping that area moist and it's not, scabbed up and crusty. That's when it can be a little, that's why they tell you got to keep that moist for 2 weeks. Yeah. So that's what I'll be doing. And what else did you tell me? I know you want to see the beach, and we'll do that. And fishing. The problem with fishing, folks, in the Sarasota area, if you don't have a boat to get out in the bay, and then deep sea fishing, do you know how far these guys go to fish offshore here? 50 miles. 50 miles. Takes a ton of gas to get to deep water. See, this is the Gulf of America. And over in West Palm Beach, in the Palm Beach County area, you go out to Boynton Inlet, Palm Beach Inlet, a mile, and you're in 700 feet of water. And the Gulf Stream is, 5 miles out. That's about, 5-10 miles, I think it is, that you can see, from out in the ocean back to land. I think it's 10 miles that you can see land. But the Gulf Stream's a lot closer than that. That's deep water, and very big current too. But out here on this side, it's completely different. And they don't really have, they got this one little inlet over here. They call it a pass. They use different words over here, pass instead of inlet. And it's not really a great fishing spot. I have fished there many times when I first moved over here. And all you catch is little things. Fun, but you're not gonna, like in Jupiter, Florida, I've fished on that inlet. When I used to live in Jupiter, I've caught every fish in the ocean, right on that inlet. It's like a freeway of fish that go through there. All these fishing shows you see on TV, they're out there videoing all the time. You'll see them making television programs. A guy on a camera on the boat, and a guy fishing, catching snook, this, that, and the other. Wish I could think of the name of that fish for in the video. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. Well, anyway, that's going to be the end of the video for tonight. I always like to go through the alphabet to try to remember something. I want to keep the propane saved up a little bit, and I know I'm on a little bit lower, so it's going to last a little bit longer, but costs money. Tomorrow I'm going to get my, I'm going to be down there when they open. Breakfast, I'm supposed to fast till 11 now, and I like to eat breakfast and make coffee early. I don't know. I got so many rules that I'm trying to do. It's really about calories, though. It doesn't matter what time you eat or when you eat or anything. It's how much and how many calories you take in and how many you burn, right? That's the bottom line. And today I didn't burn any. I made a hamburger. I kind of chopped it all up in the skillet tonight inside and put it on a senior salad. And I had that hamburger salad. Let me tell you, you got to make that. I mean, I sat there and I just chowed on that because I didn't eat. I waited till 11, and then I got busy going down there, getting the propane tanks filled. Then I went down there and walked around for 2 hours, pacing the floor. It never happened. Came home, made another video, and then I made the hamburger meat. And now it was like 4 o'clock. That was the first thing I ate all day. I was starving. I put it in that big old metal bowl. And what one of you called it? What was it you called it? Oh yeah, dog bowl. I guess that's what it could be. Dog water bowl. But you know, it's the metal bowls, different sizes. Damn good cereal bowl. So yeah, I mean, I hope you enjoyed evening chat tonight. Thanks for stopping by. And if you wouldn't mind, every time I ask, I do see a big jump in the thumbs up. So I'm asking again tonight, if you don't mind, giving the video a thumbs up. It definitely helps me out in the YouTube algorithm that I fight every day. And so I really greatly appreciate that. And if you're new to my channel, consider subscribing, because it's about everything. It's an eclectic channel. And I don't want you to miss one. We might start fishing. You know, we're going to be at the beach soon, and we're going to be traveling with this girl in the very near future with the RV life. So pretty good stuff. We keep it positive here. And remember, everybody, thank the Lord for everything you got and crush it.